Hey,
Hey, there it is.
hey, how you doing?
Porter.
Yes,
Wow, I have not seen this lovely face in years.
same here.
I'm
How you
crazy.
been? Where are you in Florida?
I'm in Florida. Yep. How's Maryland?
Hot.
Yeah, same. Okay, so
Okay.
for everyone listening, actually, Porter and I go way back to what year is it that we met? Like 2012?
2012,
I think so, or 11.
maybe 11.
And although we've stayed in contact, we this is the first time we're actually seeing each other in all these years. Look, I'm a grown woman now.
Yeah.
You remember how we met?
In the park, Centennial Park,
Uh-huh.
dancing.
Yep, we both went to one of those, free, dance lessons in the park, and I
Yeah.
remember I saw you and I was like, "Do you have a partner? Would you be my partner?" I won the jackpot that night because I got the best partner at the park and a lifelong friend.
Yep. Yep. I remember you had your cowboy boots on in the dress.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That was the good
Yeah,
old
yeah,
Nashville days.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're my third guest on Real Talk Radio. And I usually do it a little different with my other guests. I'm doing a whole special format for you today. Usually what I do is I sort of build playlists with my guests and we talk about it, but I figured we would use the playlist today to sort of be the soundtrack to the story that is your life thus far. Because your whole life story is pretty poetic and remarkable, and I'm gonna try to do it as best as justice as possible. But that's what we're gonna do today: is tell your story and use the songs from your life to kind of sprinkle in this narrative. That sound
Okay.
good? To you? All right, cool. So let's set the scene first. We're in Florence, Alabama, right?
Yes, Florence, Alabama. I'm
40.
5 years of age. I'm 5 years of old when I heard music coming through a box, which was radio, little bit of box. And I saw how people reacted to a sound. They clapped their hands, some cried, some smiled, some people was happy, some people sang along with the song. But I asked my grandmother, how can something come through this little box make people, particularly like my mother, who was a teenager when she had me, how this music can make my mother smile, cry, or feel sad? And my grandmother explained to me it was music. And I was asking how you do that? And she said people play instruments and write songs. And so I said that's what I want to do because to me that's magic. You know what I mean?
5
It's
years
like
old, huh?
yeah, it was magic.
You remember the song? You told me what song it was once. What was
But
the song?
you got to pronounce the other one, which
The song that you told me that you heard, this is 1949, you were 5 years old, is
yeah,
"I'm So Lonesome" by, Hank Williams Jr.
yes,
So we're
yes.
gonna we're gonna play that song right now.
Okay.
So this song actually has been covered a dozen times. Elvis covered it, who else? Oh, Johnny Cash. It's a popular one for sure.
Yeah, because I saw how it made people react. People were singing and humming it. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
So during that time, I guess people felt that way. You know what I mean?
mhm.
People were in love. Particularly my mother, she was in love because she was a teenager.
So you're growing up in Florence, Alabama, and now you're a teenager pretty much in the 50s. So
Yes.
things are still segregated. And what was your experience with that?
Well, segregation was only to me in what you call them theaters,
Hmm.
school, and school and theaters. And when you go shopping,
Hmm.
we couldn't try on no clothing so you had to buy your shoe. You had to. This is funny. I think this is where a lot of people's feet messed up because you couldn't try on shoes. You had to measure your shoe foot with a string, and so your hat, tie a string around your head, and go and pick a hat.
Really?
Yeah, and with the shoe, you never did get the width of the shoe because most people didn't do both ways; they just did the length. So if the shoe was
Wow.
too tight, you could not take it back. You could not try on clothes. So
Wow.
you buy, take home. But like I was telling you earlier, I was in my neighborhood. Whites and blacks were living next door to each other,
Mhm.
down the street from each other, and so we played together after school.
Mhm.
We played together after school and played football, baseball, wagons, ride bicycles together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What was the overall, I mean, I'm sure it would be hard to condense this into a simple answer, but what are the overall psychological impacts that that had on you and your family? What was your attitude? Was it anger? Was it sadness? Was it, I mean,
Nope. It was just saying I was raised to saying it's just a law.
wow.
It's just a law that it can be changed. It's something that's not permanent. It's just a law can be changed, and it doesn't reflect to make who you are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
It
love that.
doesn't define. It doesn't define who you are.
Yeah.
So I was taught with pride,
Mhm.
keep believing in myself
That makes
because. Hmm?
that makes a lot of sense why you got
Mhm.
into being an activist for civil rights and that you studied it, that you viewed it as just this thing that could be changed. I That's very powerful.
Yeah. And this, I told you, I was named after a white family son.
Mhm.
Dr. Ellis was a veterinarian, so they named me after his son. Porter Ellis was his name. So my name is Porter Ellis Stewart. So I was told by that family and my family, hey, don't worry about that law, that black and white sign. You're still a human being. You're still a human being. You're somebody, and
Wow.
that does not define who you are. So I just, what you call it, walked to I know when me and my friend, we walked to the theater, both parents would say, remember when y'all get to the theater, you sit upstairs, you sit downstairs. After the theater, you all can walk home together, but you can't sit together in the theater, you know what I mean?
So crazy.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, it was cool. It's all right. It's all right.
And was anybody else in your family musical? I know you said
Most of
your mom.
most of the men, my uncle pianos, cousins piano players. Yeah, they were all piano players. One cousin was he was in charge of the music department at Albany State College, Jane Marcus, and his mother was my first teacher.
And I know you told me that your mom used to sing a song to you around this time too. You told me the lyrics, but I'd never heard the song. And I recently looked it up because I added it to our playlist and it is my jam. I love this song.
But we
It's by
still a little bit of it, sing a little bit
Okay,
of it.
okay. It's a song by Little Milton, and the title is Grits Ain't Groceries. And he goes, woo, if I don't love you, baby, grits ain't grocery, eggs ain't poultry, and Mona Lisa was a man. I love it. So we're going to play that right now. That song is so good. It's so good. I love it.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
So there we go. We have a pretty musical childhood, and you learned to play the piano. And then what's next? Is it Nashville? Age 20, right?
I went to Chicago.
Oh, you went straight to Chicago first.
Yeah, from Florence, Alabama.
Oh wow,
I,
that's a
I left Florence. I left Florence when I was like 14.
Oh, what? I did not know this part of the story. Wow.
Yeah, I left Florence by about 14 because uh, my grandmother said that I was getting too mannish.
Too mannish.
Yeah,
What does that mean?
trying to be a grown up too quickly.
Ah, so she just was like, "You want to go experience the real world? I'll show you the real world. Go to."
Yeah, go. Yeah, she wanted me to go be with my grandfather. You know,
I see. Okay.
she said she was getting too old, and she couldn't catch me to get me on whooping.
Dang. Grandma not messing around.
Yeah, 'cause I started after the band teacher beat me on my leg, and I left the school because he kept beating me on my leg because I was playing snare drum, and I quit school.
Oh wow.
When I got mad, I walked out of school, and I got and I started drinking, doing bad things.
At 14?
Yeah,
Too mannish for your
yeah,
own good.
yeah. So she said, "Well,
Hey, I've been mannish before too. It's all right.
yeah, yeah." So guess what though?
What?
When I got to Chicago, I was in music school at music school Line and Healy. Line and Healy.
Okay.
Lyon Healy. And in that music class was Herbie Hancock, Gene Harris, another piano player,
Wow.
myself, and a few other people.
That's
Yeah,
crazy. Wow. I
yeah,
did not know that.
yeah. But see, I didn't stick with that because my grandfather passed before I got 17.
Oh wow.
And I was living with some strangers, which was his sisters,
Who was it?
my, my grandfather's sisters.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't know them.
Oh, okay.
But I knew they was his sister, but I was not around them. They was in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So once he died, I didn't feel at ease being in the presence of their home.
Mm.
So they didn't support my music.
Mm.
My grandfather supported my music. My grandmother supported my music.
Mm.
And see, my mother married a guy that my grandfather and my grandmother did not like, and I did not like.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't go to St. Louis with my mother and her husband. So I stayed in Alabama and raised by my grandparents.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah. And also I took a little tap dancing with Fred Astaire. Fred Astaire dancing school.
There it is. There it is. I was
Yeah.
wondering where the
Yeah.
dancing element came into play.
Yeah.
I was a
Fred
tap
Astaire.
dancer too.
Huh?
I was a tap dancer as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I took a little tap at Fred Astaire dance studio down in
Yeah.
Chicago.
I
Yeah.
kind of miss tap. You think you could still tap dance?
I probably could if I wouldn't think about it. Put the right taps on and right music, probably.
Man, if I ever come to Maryland, I think we might have to go to like a little tap dancing class together.
Yeah. Probably could tap dance. If I probably couldn't do. You probably can just now because listen to the rhythm.
Exactly. Listen to the
Listen to the
rhythm.
rhythm.
That's
Mhm.
always the answer.
Yeah, yeah. Listen to the rhythm. Might not be like 7 days you rhythm, but it'd be your tapping. You know what I mean? It'd be your thing.
That sounds like a great
I'm gonna
time.
play a little bit for you. Can I play something for you?
Please.
I saved it so it wouldn't be long.
Okay. Awesome.
I hope it come on. Can you hear it?
I can hear it.
Sit down to earn. To create a new world. To create a new world. He wasn't a great singer, but he didn't care.
Who is it?
Sit high. He's the leader of the group.
Yeah.
And that's when I told you I met in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
I knew him, but and he asked me how long is it gonna take before I come.
Oh, that's right. So this is later on in your journey. This is the ensemble.
Yeah,
Nice. Okay, cool. Oh man. I mean, your phone and my speakers are not going to do that music justice, but I could hear your bass even through it and it sounds awesome. How can
yeah,
I
and
get how can I get me a copy of this?
I got it on a CD. I just got to find out how put it on a CD and put it on the thumb drive. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Can you get me in contact with your grandson and I'll tell him I'll send him whatever if he can mail me one.
Okay.
I kn
Yeah.
I know that I mean, just you in general, you have such an energy and it comes through when you're playing for sure. I love that.
You hear the piano? You hear the keyboard? Do you hear the keyboard in that song?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I play the keyboard.
Oh, you're not playing bass?
No, that was Leo on bass. I'm
Ah,
playing the keyboard. I'm playing the keyboard.
I got you. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, y'all
that's
sound
what
awesome.
the guy was saying. That little keyboard player. He said Porter Stewart. Yeah,
That's you.
yeah, yeah. I'm playing the keyboard.
I love it. So this was
Yeah,
Chicago round two, but in 1964, you moved to Nashville, Tennessee, didn't you?
right.
20
To
years
Tennessee.
old. You went to Tennessee State and you
Right.
studied sociology,
Yes.
correct?
Why sociology? I don't know. I thought I was going. I had this idea that once you learn sociology, you help change the world, study society,
Mm-hmm.
and wanted to be a writer. That I would be a better writer. Well, no, I wouldn't be a better writer, but studying sociology, I would have a better idea of the world that I want to write about.
Mm-hmm. And did you achieve that?
Didn't help. Teacher,
It's still a
the
big
teacher,
question mark, huh?
you know what? You know what it is?
What?
It's the teachers.
Yeah.
They don't want to be questioned.
Oh, yeah. I've received a lot
You
of that
know,
as well.
and I had been out. I had been like out in the world marching. You know what I mean? Before I got to Tennessee State. You know what I'm saying? In Tennessee State, a black teacher was trying to tell us in the class that we black people created the ghetto. And I raised my hand. I said, I disagree with you, sir, because when you live in a well urban city, you don't own the stores. You shop there, but when the money leaves, money go back to the communities, to the suburbs. Whoever owned that building would live somewhere else. You know what I mean, in the suburbs.
Mm-hmm.
So when the light went out, they didn't come fix it. You know what I mean? When some would need fixed, they took their time to come. But like with my family, who owned their home, the grass was well kept. They own thing. All the people in the block owned their home. They kept it nice.
Mm-hmm.
But when the money leaves the community, there's nothing there to keep it going. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So my teacher kicked me out of the class.
Really? Wow.
But he told me, who's the teacher here? I said, well, we can't, you get out the class, you get out the class. So that was my time at Tennessee State.
But there was some positives because
Yeah, because
you started performing your poetry in college, right?
yeah,
And you
yeah.
you did you did write a lot while you were in college. And I remember you telling me we should definitely include the part of your soundtrack that is your first Nashville University experience, which I think you told me is a Marvin Gaye song. You were really into Motown, weren't you?
Yeah, the song was Ain't That Peculiar.
Ain't That Peculiar? Yeah, that's right. Because we thought maybe it was Smokey Robinson, but it's Marvin Gaye.
It's
So,
Marvin Gaye singing. I think Smokey wrote it.
oh, okay, nice. I didn't
Yeah,
know.
I think Smokey wrote it, but Marvin singing.
Well, let's play that song right now then.
You got it? You got it?
Queued it up. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're at the end of your Nashville experience and you moved to Connecticut.
Yes, Stores, Connecticut, University of Connecticut.
Okay. And then I love this story. You're gonna have to tell it of when you were very humbled at a gig, and this was also the start of your improv, where you started
Yeah.
improving songs live.
About the group that we went to play, sign up, what you call it?
Yeah.
What do
Yeah.
you call it? What do you
It's like
call
an
it?
open jam or like an open.
Open
Yeah.
jam, yes. So first of all, I got to go back to Mike. I got to go back to Mike Thomas.
Okay.
Okay. Mike was a student at Fisk University,
Mm-hmm.
and we became friends. He was in the music department at Fisk as a pianist, but he lives in Hartford, Connecticut. So
Okay.
when my wife and I got married, we stayed with his parents until we found an apartment. We found a place on campus. So Mike and I, that was his name, Billy, we got a group together.
Mm-hmm.
So we would go different places and play music. I'm playing bass, upright bass. Mike, pianist, Billy, xylophone. And then the drummer, we never had a permanent drummer, so we always had to, whoever was available came to play the drums.
Mm-hmm.
So one night, we go to Hartford. And by this time, everybody was trying to play my favorite thing because John Coltrane just had come out with my favorite things, but that's soprano sax.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a great opportunity. We're gonna just sneak that in right now and play that song.
By John Coltrane, my favorite things.
My favorite
So
thing, John Coltrane.
yeah,
Here it is.
yeah, and everybody just went crazy because he just like burst into the scene. Because my favorite thing was like a classical Christmas song,
Mm-hmm.
and he put it with that soprano sax into a jazz. So everybody was trying to play that.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to the club. So by being the bass player, I'm checking out who are all the other bass players who had signed up to play that night. And so the piano player was doing the same thing, who the pianist going to be. So somebody pointed to a guy and said, oh, that's the bass player over there. He go before you. His name was Phil Bowles. And I said, him? I ain't worried about him, man. He's like a little kid. He's like a little baby, you know what I mean?
I think we call him a dweeb.
Little nerd. Yeah,
Little
little
nerd.
nerd. I like, I ain't worried about him. He's a little nerd. So he's there. And that's a presumption, you know what I mean? Prejudging.
Yeah.
That's a mistake. I never done it no more, man. I never did. So
Oh,
this guy go and play this bass. And when it came to time to solo, he played the whole song on that upright bass, on top, in the middle, and up under the bridge. Solo. And it's clear. He made every note sound.
and for anyone listening, stand-up bass are extremely difficult to play. Very hard to play. Upright bass.
Yeah, upright bass. He went up on that bridge and he picked out everything, my favorite things. These are a few of my favorite things. One a dog bite, one a bee sting, da 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 da. I mean, everything's clear.
Wow.
And I said to myself, I'm not playing my favorite things because I would have to play bass.
I can't go play the same song after that and not.
Yeah, ain't no way. So my Mike, what we gonna do? What we gonna do? We got 2 or 3 songs to do. What we gonna do? I said, we gonna put another song in. What? I said, we gonna do Crucifixion of Jesus Christ. And they said, what? We ain't never practiced that. I said, so?
You just made it up.
Just make up, just thinking somebody's born, have somebody birth, you're gonna be nice, people happy, then you get in trouble. You go through some hard times, bad things, then death rise, then after death, people moan and cry. Then after that, it's coming to brightness, hope. It's okay. And we did it. And it was nice.
That is the coolest thing. And also, you have to realize how good you all are as musicians to be able to be at a level of your playing where you can just describe a story that you're going to tell, and you all can be good enough to be like, all right, let's do this. I get it. We're going to tell this story through our instruments. Like, that is so powerful and so cool. And I love your confidence of just being like, we're going to play the crucifixion of Jesus Christ song that I just made up in my head.
Because I wasn't going out to play no favorite thing. And by being the crucifixion of Jesus, it was like the bass. I could do whatever I wanted to do on that bass. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because they had no reference to how the song go. Mm-hmm. They weren't having any reference to what we were doing. So it came out very well. He started off real nice chords, like put you like you were traveling on a carpet. You know what I mean? Started off like water. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Real smooth.
Yeah, I love that. And I know during this time you were also really into what's his name, Paul Chambers. Miles Davis is.
So what?
So what? Yeah, let's listen to that jam right now too.
Yeah. That's what made me want to play bass, Paul Chambers.
How cool is
because
that?
Because he was a nice bass player. Miles Davis, that song too. Once he didn't have nothing written down. He just gave him an idea about that album, Kind of Blue.
Yeah, his probably most famous album, right?
Yeah, he said that too. He just had something written down, like an idea, and just let everybody go for it. And that's what we did with this. The guy just got through playing on the music. Mm-hmm. ARE.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what we were going to. Just have an idea and go from there.
The what does it stand for? Something Resurrection Ensemble. Ancestral. That's
Resurrection
cool.
Ensemble.
So I love it. So you're just hanging around Connecticut at this point, living in a little apartment with your wife at the time, and you had a newborn as well.
Yes.
And then your story takes a pretty crazy turn.
We go down to Florida.
Yeah, and you meet
James Brown.
And James Brown decides to bring you on as a writer. And now I know that this story is a little sensitive, so I was going to ask you, do we include a James Brown song in the playlist or no?
No, I didn't find them.
All right. Screw it then. We're not going to include a James Brown song, and we'll tell you why. Tell us about your experience as a writer for James Brown.
Well, let's say this here. My experience with James Brown as trying to survive.
Yep.
He gave me at the King of the Road Hotel down on First Avenue in Nashville. Mm-hmm. Well, I had met him in Florida.
Oh, wow.
I met him in Tallahassee a few times. He come back, I see him. So one time I see him in Florida. He said, Mr. Stewart, I like your poetry. I like the way you write, man. You're a hell of a writer. You need to come to New York. You need to come with me. I can introduce you to a lot of people. You could be a hell of a playwright. So I said, well, okay. So when I see him in Nashville, about 74, I think, my son had to be about 3 years old. He was born in 71, so he had to be about 4 years of age. So he had to be around 74, King of the Road in Nashville. So he performed. I went to his concert. So he said, you decide what you're going to do? I said, yeah, well, I'd like to take you up on that. He said, okay, well, come to the hotel tomorrow and have dinner. It was a Sunday. So I said, okay. So my wife was cooking Sunday dinner. She said, you going to eat? I said, nah, I'm invited to the hotel to have dinner with James Brown. So I go to the hotel, go up in James Brown room. So he ordered 3 people in the room. He ordered 2 dinners. And when the dinner came, those 2 people started eating. And but I said, I'm not gonna be petty about what happened to where's my dinner? But I just said nothing because I didn't want to be
think that's
petty.
petty. That's basic respect. What are you doing?
Yeah, but that
Wow.
should have been a warning. That should have been a warning. That
Right.
should have been a warning sign. But I said, well, I got dinner at home. I ain't worried about the dinner. So we talked and stuff. He telling me that things I need to do. I need to either cut my braids.
Cut your what?
My braids, my hair.
Why?
Because that might scare people. They'd be thinking I'm too militant
Okay.
in New York. And I either could get a haircut or get a process. But he didn't call it process. He called it the free look. And Al Sharpton was there. Al Sharpton was around us too. Al Sharpton, but he was not Al Sharpton like you see him now.
Mm-hmm.
He was more like a hairdresser at that time.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So he said, well, you get your hair free looking. I said, no, I don't want a process. That's what I said to myself. So I go back and I tell he give me $150. I'm sorry. He give me $150 cash and tell me to meet him in New York. And I said, well, where are you going from here? He said, I'm going back to Augusta, Georgia. And I said, well, Augusta, Georgia, that's where you're born, right? He said, yeah. I said, that's where your father is? Still there? He said, yeah. I said, well, I need to come to Augusta, Georgia to get an idea of what Augusta, Georgia like so I can write more about you, get your background of you, He said, that's a good idea, Mr. Stewart. That's a very good idea.
And I know you hated that he called you Mr. Stewart.
Yeah. So he gave me all his telephone numbers. So I flew to Augusta, Georgia. Well, first of all, I go home and I tell my wife, I said, I finally made it. She said, what you do? I said, Jane Brown is taking me on. And first thing she said, did he sign a contract? I said, no, that's the Godfather's soul. That's Jane Brown. I don't need no contract. He man of the word, So I went out to Tennessee State to the cafeteria and told everybody during lunchtime, announced that I had made it with Jane Brown. Everybody clapped for me. And I slept good that night. That was one of the best sleeps I had because I feel like I didn't have no more worries. You know what I mean?
Oh.
And I went to Augusta, Georgia. And from there, nightmare. The band was checking out the hotel. I called him. I said, man, the band is leaving. I need to get on the bus. Well, you can't ride the bus, Mr. Stewart, because you're not insured. You're not insured. You know what I mean? You wait for me, I'm gonna pick you up. You ride with me. So I waited. He never did show up.
What?
The time that I waited, So I didn't want to come back to Nashville empty-handed. So I called a friend of mine who was an artist in New York. I said, man, I need to come to New York and put me up a few days until Jane Brown make it to New York. He said, yeah. So I stayed with him and his mother and his sister. Then Jane Brown came, went to the office, followed the office. What happened to you, Mr. Stewart? I said, I waited. Well, I came by, you weren't there. And I even called his house. His wife said, well, he's gone.
Wow.
So I don't know where he was, but I know I was sitting in that lobby. I couldn't stay in the room because if you stay in the room, there's more money.
Yeah.
After now, so I stayed in the lobby till 10 o'clock that night. Wow. Checkout was like 12, right? So I got to New York, went to his office every day, decided I was not going to leave during lunch hour. I'm going to stay right there with him. So I was drinking coffees and honey buns until he left the office. And we get in the car, go different places. And I kept asking, when you gonna put me on salary? Well, I gotta wait for the CD to come out. No, not CD, album.
Mm-hmm.
Got to wait for this album to come before I can put you on salary. But here, $50. That's what he was doing. $50 here, $50 there. And finally, I can't take it no more. And I'm paying $30 a week for room and board. Everybody said, when you get tired of playing with James Brown, playing around with him, that's what they said. Let us know. We know some people. We can introduce you to Sammy Davis Jr. Mama. You know, maybe she can get you. Sammy to help you. But I couldn't stay no longer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't stay any longer because I had expired my card, the limit on the card. That's when I get back home. Guess who had to pay those bills?
Your wife.
Yeah, and she says, I want to get a divorce from you. And I said, why? She said, not because I don't like you or love you. I just can't afford your stupidity.
That breaks my heart. Damn, James Brown caused your divorce.
Yeah, but I wasn't mad at my ex-wife. I wasn't mad at her because I understood where she was coming from. He did cause that. I was pissed off at James Brown for a while. I wouldn't even listen to a James Brown song, a record, or nothing, you know.
I think
Yeah,
I gotta boycott him now too.
Yeah. And then after that, then I started seeing other people talking. Because, when you come back, people think that you be making up stuff to cover up your failure, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But then when I started seeing Fred West with them saying that he was cheap, that he didn't want to pay, they left. I started seeing, I saw Maceo in action, getting ready to leave. And then other musicians later on in life was on TV was saying that it was hard to work with James Brown because he didn't want to pay, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But they enjoyed the traveling. But, it was hard to get their pay. So I said, see, I'm not lying, So, and then I guess when the movie came out, people could see too,
Mm-hmm.
how he was. But at first, people thought, no, man, James Brown? No, man, he must have been you. I said, well, okay, but it was an experience. I don't regret it. It's it was something that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And an experience.
One of those things that just completely changed the course of your life, though. And
yeah, I stopped music for a while after that.
so then you moved back to Nashville. It's 1980 because it's the year that John Lennon died. You remember you signed a lease or something, and you learned about
No, I signed my divorce papers.
Divorce papers. Wow. Okay. Yeah. And you just learned at the same time that John Lennon
Right.
was killed. So
Right.
we'll play a John Lennon song here just to set the stage for the right time.
Okay.
Which one should we play? You have a favorite John Lennon song?
Let It Be.
Great. It's a classic and it's your favorite, of course. So at this point, you're jaded and you just don't want anything to do with music, even though it's pretty much been your whole life since you were 5. So you just say whatever and you start working at the Hermitage Hotel in Nashville.
Well, let's say it's not that I didn't want to do music. I had no support no more.
Okay.
And I had no one to do it with because I know the students, I had to work with students at Florida A&M. And they wouldn't, they'd rather play a card game, be in the cafeteria playing cards than to do something, when it comes time to practice or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I decided I didn't, well, that was my choice. I couldn't go back out on the road because I had no money, no support.
Mm.
And I didn't want to mess with student musicians, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just stopped. I just stopped.
Wow.
And, like I told you before, I just walked the pavement on Music Road. And that man told me that he respected my perseverance, but I could keep on walking forever. But I couldn't get in unless someone inside took me in, brought me
Yeah.
in. So I just started working at Herman Hotel, which was nice because I got to see different people.
Lots of people. Name them.
Well, I got to see Clint Eastwood. I went to Barry's skeleton room, talked to him. He drew me a. I'm gonna see if I can find my little picture. He drew for me. I met like you said, you don't know Tattoo, the little guy, the plane.
I know a different tattoo. For me, tattoo, it means a girl band from Russia.
And then Barbara Walters,
That's right. And Marvin Gaye.
Lena Horne. You see this? You see this here? Lady Gypsy?
Uh-huh.
That's Lena Horne when she was there. And this is a poem from the Hermes Hotel. They published it for me.
Oh, wow. Wait, it's your poem or it's,
It's my poem.
can you please read it for me?
I tried.
Thank you.
Called Lady Gypsy because when she was traveling later in her song,
Mm-hmm.
that was her title for her road trip, The Lady in Her Song.
Okay.
So I said, Lady Gypsy, all my life have I wanted for the moment to embrace the dream I wish. And when she entered into the oasis where hermits secluded, a soft moonlight rushed down and greeted her with a glow. A stained glass skylight admired in awe. View-eyed escorted the occasion. My dream, a wish unfolded into truth. Palm trees arched to her loveliness. My desire swollen as I blushed hellos and opened French doors while Park Street beckoned the special lady. Right then and there, she bade the moment so pretty. I knew she was the madam of my fantasy. Jilted by professionalism, I silenced my expression of love for her by harnessing my feelings and bridling my tongue from uttering a simple suggestion. You understand that? From uttering a simple suggestion. However, out of respect for romance, I did smile rainbows and warm weather upon her so she would know I was thrilled with the moment and taken by her calmness. A hermitage experience.
Wow. I love it.
Yeah, they published that for me.
Oh man, that's beautiful. Wow, what a beautiful mind you have. You're such a lover. I love the line in there that the desire or the wishes unfolded into truths.
Yeah, I told you the guy told me don't be trying to mess with the. So I was my professionalism. Yeah,
So you're like, I won't mess with her. I'll just write this ridiculously romantic poem for her instead. So who is this woman? Tell me more.
Lena Horne.
Is she a musician?
You don't remember Lena Horne? She was a Broadway actress. She was one of the first Black women in film. Lena Horne, very pretty.
All right, can you see this? Is this her?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
let's go on.
okay, so I have to play a Lena Horne song now.
Yeah. Where is it? Where's skeleton thing?
All right, we're gonna play her rendition of Stormy Weather.
And that's one of our favorites.
I love it. Like,
You see this?
yeah.
With the white shirt on.
Is that you?
Yeah, right here. Sitting right there.
It says something about social unrest. What were you
Yeah,
doing?
it's sitting in the Chicago Board of Education. See?
Wow. Was this when you were working with civil rights activists?
Yeah. Yeah, that's when I just had graduated out of high school before I came to Tennessee State.
Wow.
This is in Tallahassee,
Poet for what does it say?
understanding.
Wow. Hey, I lived in Tallahassee too. We have that in common.
You did?
Yeah. My first show I ever did, I opened up for George Clinton.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a lot of similar things in common in our life paths. We both moved to Nashville at the age of 20, and we both lived in Tallahassee. We're both great dancers.
What year you there? What year you there?
I was there from 2009 to 2011, just a couple
Okay.
years. So, Porter, let me ask you.
Mhm.
You've made your life about art and poetry and humanity and trying to make the world a better place. And you've done a lot and you've seen a lot. So, but you're still only 77 years young. I'd say
Yeah.
you got a good 3 decades left on this planet, in my opinion. So what else do you want to experience or accomplish in the rest of this already awesome story of yours?
Well, I would like someone to buy my screenplay and make a movie out of it.
Okay.
Or I'd like to find a producer. So now, see this here?
Mm-hmm.
That's from the Bahamas, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's when they were saying, if I find a producer for my film, we could do the movie in the Bahamas. But I never found I never found one.
Well, not yet. I mean, I have a humble little audience that we'll push Porter the playwright, and we'll see if any of those people might be a producer. You never know. Well, I know that you're an awesome writer, so I'll help get the word out any way I can. You let me know.
Yeah. I think this is one of the poems that James Brown liked about me. And I don't know, I think he used that idea to do some of his later songs, like, but this is the song. My only weapon is my song. If I make you think, I don't mean no harm. Right on, right on. My only weapon is my song. Staggering minds, living comfortably behind time, getting all nervous up and uptight about the turmoil and the strife, but ain't willing to help to pay the price to help set this world right. My only weapon is my song. If I make you think, I don't mean no harm. Right on, right on. My only weapon is my song. Everything in a mess for a nation that claims to be the best. War and poverty are very real. Lives are lost over dollar bills. Dying is easy, but it's hard to live. Heaven knows this ain't God's will. My only weapon is my song. If I make you think, I don't mean no harm. Right on, right on. My only weapon is my song.
Wow, I love it. I feel like Bob Marley should have had that one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And
a great song. Wow, I love the lyrics. I think this is a great note to end the discussion on your beautiful poetry. Um, I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your story and your awesome energy. I'm so inspired by you always because I think that you just have a spirit about you that is so uplifting and your life is so beautifully poetic. And I'm just honored to know you. So thanks for being a part of my show.
I'm glad that I got to talk to somebody.
I'm glad that I'm that somebody. I
I ain't
feel
talked, I ain't talked to nobody in 5 years.
oh, no. Oh, man. Well, we'll make it more of a regular thing. I always love hearing your poetry.
Yeah, well, I like to hear some of the songs I did in Nashville, like Somebody, We Need Somebody.
Mhm.
We need somebody. One day I'll play that for you. Maybe you might like it. Want to do it later on in your life. You know what I mean?
I would love that.
I probably know where it is. Probably in my little other thing with the Red Fox. Not Red Fox, Red Skeleton. You
Okay.
remember Red Skeleton?
Mm-mm.
You remember his show?
I don't
Clem Cadilla Hopper? Clem Cadilla Hopper? Okay. You
think
tell
sorry to disappoint. Okay. You looked so disappointed in me. I'm sorry.
no. He used to have a little show come on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being my guest today, Porter, and sharing your beautiful life story. I'm happy to just be a player in it.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, dear. You're more than a player. You're an artist.
Thank you for
You're an
that.
artist.
Hey,
Yeah.
that means a lot coming from you because to me, you are a true artist.
But I noticed, I'm gonna tell you this while you're on the telephone.
Okay.
Um, I know that when you were singing in
Mm-hmm.
Nashville,
Mm-hmm.
they tried to put some harness on you, so to hold you down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but don't let them do that to you. Your spirit is out there, okay?
Okay. I'll take
Just
that.
be you, cause you. Well, that time that when you in the basement when you play, you kicked it. You know what I mean?
I forgot you were there. Oh my God.
You kicked, yeah, you kicked it. You kicked it. But after some people probably didn't like the way you perform and your wildness. Well, I wouldn't say your wildness, your artistic.
I
Your
was
artistic.
jumping off speakers and stuff.
You
Yeah.
was into it. You was into it. You was into it.
I was.
You was into it. Yeah, you was into it. You made people feel it. You know what I mean?
Thank you for saying that, my friend.
You made people feel it. So, uh, sometimes people be saying, well, you can't sit on the stool.
Yeah.
You probably later on in life, you know what I mean? But you got a lot of artistic in you. Gotta let it out.
Thank you, my friend.
Okay, you remember when the song opened up? You said God sent down these musicians
Uh-huh.
for the earth. But
Mm-hmm.
you one of them, you know what I
Thank
mean?
you. As are
So
you. As are you. I love
yeah,
it.
so true. Stay true and follow yours right there.
Okay.
This and that. This and that.
Got you.
Yeah. And what your eyes see,
Mm-hmm.
put it to some music. What you feel in your eyes see, put it to some music.
Okay.
Okay, so it's been nice, dear.
All
It's been
right.
okay. I don't know what people gonna say, but I've been nice, enjoying talking to you and looking at you.
Okay.
Been nice.
That's all that matters.
Okay. All right. Peace
Much
and
love
love.
to you.
Hmm? All
Bye.
right. Bye
See
bye.
you soon.